Hey folks, welcome to another new video on Worldographer 2025. I'm Joe Wetzel, the creator of the program. As you likely know, if you've seen any of the other videos or anything else that we've got going out there about the project, we are crowdfunding a whole bunch of new features that are being added, as well as some back-end changes and such. And so we're asking you to support that additional work if you would find it useful. We'll have a link in the comments or above the comments, just under the video here, to the crowdfunding page, which also will have a link to the full demo where you can try everything out. Everything is available. All the pro features can be used kind of through somewhere near the end of October is when that expires. But what you can see in front of you is just a sample map that I generated because we're going to show some new features that are actually going to be using other people's icon sets that are out there. Not necessarily designed specifically for Worldographer. These are things that other people have put out there, and we wanted to make it easier to import and use those icons. So to do so, you've got a couple of different ways to bring them into Worldographer. One is that you could use our configuration subfolder set up here under the configure menu. And that's something where you set aside a particular, you make a directory, a Worldographer directory, probably in your documents folder. Don't use the existing program files Worldographer folder that gets created when you install Worldographer, because if you uninstall and then reinstall, you might lose any files that are there, depending on what your operating system does for that. So don't put it there. And in fact, even better is to put it on a cloud drive where it's backed up, where if your hard drive fails or something, you don't run into problems. So that's one way to do it, and you can show the configuration folder, which will show you where that is by default, and you could make that folder, or you can change it if you need to make it into something else. And then we've got these add custom terrain, add custom features, add custom textures options, and then we've also got a way to add terrain and features and textures through the configure menus as well. We're going to focus though on the add custom terrain, and that's going to bring up a file chooser for us to pick. And so I've got the assets from 2 Minute Tabletop. They did a bunch of hex icons that people have asked me about, and we actually improved the functionality for this in regular Worldographer like maybe 3-4 months ago to better accommodate their icons. Really the only main change that we had to do was reorder how we lay out hexes, and what they were expecting was for us to lay out one row, then the next row, and we were laying them out column by column. And in hindsight, theirs was a better approach, or whatever other tools that they were working with that were expecting it that way were a better approach, because it does give you some ability to throw some stuff, some stuff that protrudes out of the top of the hex a little bit more easily. So we've got that. I'm kind of highlighting a handful, I don't want those two. I'm highlighting a handful of their hexes that I just want a variety of the terrain. I don't want to inundate the tool with too many things, but we do want to have a handful of terrain types here. Let's see, plains, yeah. Actually, I'm going to go back up to the top. I do want this. And then I'm going to scroll down. We'll get to the rivers and stuff a little bit later. I guess I can do those two. This one. Okay, these two. Maybe not that one, though. And then we've got some sparse trees. Okay. Yeah, that's good to have. I might miss some, but we'll have enough for a basis of what we'll need, and we can always go back and get more if we need to. Here's some more tree ones. Okay, so I'm going to grab those for the moment. Hit open. Now this dialog has been improved and changed quite a bit with the most recent update, which actually just came out today, 1.07. And what you can see here is you can apply a category to all of this terrain. See, we're trying to make it easier for you to kind of sort through all the icons that are installed into Worldographer. Or you can create a new category. And so we're going to make a 2 minute category for all their icons. Now, I know from experience that they put a lot of additional transparency around their icons. Again, I'm not sure if it was built for another tool or they just wanted to have a lot of room in order to allow for things to protrude way out. But they do center their icons, and then it needs to be doubled in size to basically fill out the whole space. This offset stuff we'll get to for another icon set. We don't need it here, but we were adding this for another icon set that some other folks had made up. Now, a couple of big improvements in the tool, right in this part of the tool, is it automatically calculates a background color. Basically, it just looks at the it picks several points somewhat close to the center, but not in the very center of a given hex, and averages them out to give you a background color. So these now, in the case of these icons, they don't actually use the background colors hardly at all. You wouldn't use them because they're fully filling in everything, but it does mean that the mini map works a little bit better. The mini map kind of shows you what the terrain is because you'll see that color on the mini map. All right, the offsets, like I said, don't matter for this, so we can just go ahead and hit OK. Oh, I should point out the elevations were also being auto guessed at. Basically, if you had hills, it was going to be 2,000 feet. If you have mountains, it's going to be 5,000 feet by default. And the algorithm does vary those. You can get mountains that are significantly higher if there's a bunch of them close together. But I digress. That's a whole other conversation. So we've got those assets added in. Let's go to 2-minute now that we've got this new category added. And these are the ones that I had selected. They are rather small, again, especially since they're kind of using only, less than half the space of a hex. So I'm going to make them larger so we can see them better. And what I can do is I can drop these in place, so this is a heavy conifer forest, essentially, is what this looks like. And I could go up and find my my forest, and I don't really see any heavy ones right there. But if we scroll down, we did have some sparse things, maybe. Yeah, here's our sparse trees, and these look like the conifers, and so I can put those down. I can then likewise scroll down, and I can get these are the regular trees, and so we can have some light forest there. Of course, that's going to take forever to do, so you can throw on the paint bucket and you can paint bucket these. We can go back to the dense ones, and we can find, here's a deciduous lush set, and so I can do that there for that. However, now what I realized was, hey, wouldn't it be cool if you could just flood fill every terrain that matches, and make that work? And I thought that would be really cool. So let's go ahead and so now there's an override, essentially. Like if you hold down the Alt while you're doing a flood fill on a particular hex, it's going to find all of that terrain throughout the entire map and use that. Likewise, if I go back to that light forest one there, we can do this, and it just changed it everywhere. If we want this here, this blank kind of base terrain or whatever, I can now replace the entire thing like that. My hills, I've got this kind of hills. I can just drop that in there like that. I should have grabbed some beach, and we will, but we have a couple mountain hexes, and so we can do our mountains like this. And we did grab some swamp, so we have some tree swamp here. There we go. And then we've got some forested hills, which I didn't really grab, and I didn't see those in their terrain set, but here we have a hill that's kind of greenish hill, and so I can drop that in there. And they also had a green mountain type thing. I didn't see that there, but you can probably make, they might have had a oh, okay, yeah, this is mountains, and it's greenish. So yeah, let's throw that in there, hold down. There we go. So now, we do have some tropical forest stuff and everything. I'm going to get the desert though taken care of. So we're going to go back to add custom terrain. We're going to grab some things that looked close to desert. So they have plains, desert. Yeah, okay. Let's get these. Control to hold down and pick those two. And I thought that there was something else that was kind of more. Oh, it was like I think there was a beach type thing. No, might be thinking of the other icon set. All right. So we're just going to use those two. Hit OK. And again, we now we can pick the category 2 minute because it's been added in. Make sure that we set that size to the 200%, and make sure you tab out of that 200 if you're going to type that in, so that you see that these other values here are set. And then we hit OK, and now we should have those two other plains desert options here. So I can pick one and hold it down, and then I could use the other one just for the sake of argument for the other ones there. And we have this grassland thing. Well, I'm gonna just, for the sake of brevity, we'll just make it that as well. And that's I don't think that icon set has a forest terrain type thing, but yeah, that gives you an idea of it. And then if we wanted to, we could pick in, do you like this effect or not? If you like this effect for the land, then maybe you leave it like that. I always like to do my coastlines. I always like to add something to the coastlines so that they don't match up a particular hex. But maybe that's beyond the bounds of this particular video. I will grab though the other icon that I wanted to get, which is this ocean thing that they have there. And again, we're going to make this a 2 minute category, and we're going to override that and make it 200%. I guess since we're only adding one, I could have done it directly right there. Hit OK. Now we have this new one here. Hold down the Alt, and everything changes. And so now you're using all the 2 minute tabletop assets in Worldographer here. And then likewise, we've got we can do features, and here's where we can, they've got a number of road tiles essentially, and more, I might just do mine with lines or whatever. In fact, the rivers I might just do with lines as well, but showing you features in Worldographer from this other tool, and we're just going to grab all the rivers and lakes that they've kind of done. Shift, hit open, and now we've got this dialog again, similar to what we saw before. Now, the 2 minute category isn't set up yet for features. We only did it for terrain, so we're going to set it up here for the features as well. We are going to override. Now, I know from experience that I need this to be 190 by 200. I think that that's just because of how we calculate widths and how they calculate widths. I think 190 is right. It might be 191, 192. It might be the right number to use, or 189. But that's the idea. Again, the offsets are really for a different tile set where they added a border, transparency border, kind of for things that are sticking out the top on the top side, and didn't do that for the bottom side. So we kind of have to offset the y-axis in particular. But figured since we're doing it for the y, we should do it for the x. But that's later. For the moment, we're going to keep these settings. Again, need to tab out of the height, the 200, so that did take effect for all of the height values here. And so we'll hit OK. And so we've got that loaded in, and we can go to 2 minute now. And once we're in the 2 minute again, these are rather small because they only use a small portion of the map. But here we can, build our river as we see fit. We can do this, and then we can branch out, like this. Branch out here. There's a bunch of additional rotates that probably aren't completely necessary, but so we could go, yeah. So we can do this, and because you can rotate, this particular one, I can rotate in Worldographer by 60 degrees, and then it's going to be able to match with that, or I can rotate it by, say, 300 degrees to do that. Yeah. So, whatever works, I guess. I don't, if I don't want to rotate this at all, I do actually. I guess I need to rotate it 180 so I can get that to end there. And then likewise, we can do this and, not rotate it at all, but do a horizontal flip on it. Nope. Vertical flip. Okay, that's what we needed. So occasionally you just have to play with it to see what you need to do. So that gives you a good idea of working with the features that they have as part of these 2-minute tabletop assets. So it's a cool look to the map. It's pretty fun looking. It's slightly cartoony, but I definitely dig this map style. It's kind of cool. So that's the 2-minute 2-minute tabletop assets in Worldographer. And just to show you really quickly, if we wanted to do configure, add custom terrain, and we can here, I also picked up these other ones. I can't pronounce this person's name, or this company or person's name. Zeshios, Pixel Hex Tileset. So I picked that up. Somebody in our Discord channel was using a different icon set by the same person. They've done two, I guess, and this is the first one that they did. I'm going to pull up the X96 one. So this is 96 pixels per, and we're just going to grab, a handful of these to show making a map with these tiles. So I'm going to do Control and just bring in a selection of these. We can bring in a couple of mountains here. Let's see. Let's bring in, no, don't want snow. Desert, yeah, definitely want some desert. And dirt, we don't really need. Boulder, okay, let's do this. Grab a couple of those, just, yeah, this one had some beach things. I'm just picking the basic ones. I get, here we got some swamp. Okay. Ocean, definitely need ocean. So we can pick whatever style ocean hexes we want. Here's other ocean in a different color. These are different features and such that you can add on top there, but I didn't get too many forest, and maybe I missed some. So this one had grass, and some of these grass ones had some forest to them. Looks like forest to me. Alright, so let's go with that so that we don't belabor this video too much. So this one here, we do want to have it be, so this one here is, I think, Zeshios. I can't quite remember if I was spelling that properly there, but we'll go with that. And they are all 100%, I believe. But then they do need a Y offset. And that Y offset was, I think, 30%, give or take. I might be off by a little bit. but I think that it was off. I think it was, actually I think it's negative 30%. Yeah, I have to shift it up. Okay, hit OK. Let's see if I got it right. So now we go into Zeshios, and we have this. And let's do File, New World Kingdom Map, generate the map, and scroll around to something here, and then pick Zeshios from here. Okay, so now I can do this. Did we get it right? Hey, we have flood fill on, and it does look like I remembered it right. It does look like it needed that 30%, that negative 30%, to adjust for that. And again, so I can hold down Shift and get all of that. We can set that down there. We can do our mountains. We can do, let's just do our other mountains this way just so that we kind of complete things. Let's put down this and this here. I'm just doing this so that it will be faster. I don't want to go back and pull in more terrain types and such. Here's our desert. And, you know, that's our, yeah. Grassland again, we'll just pick the grass again for the grassland there. Of course, you know, the more variety that you bring in, the more variety that you'll be able to have in your final map. And then we want to have that ocean, so we can just pull in ocean, Shift and Alt as I click in order to have that flood fill every terrain that is ocean on the existing map to convert it all to that new terrain type. So that's what I wanted to show you here in today's update on Worldographer. This is just showing off, you know, a couple of the new features that we worked on very recently. Like I said, that this flood fill functionality of overriding the flood fill by holding down Alt, and it will affect all of that type of terrain on your entire map, is brand new, as well as those configuration dialogues. To add custom terrain, add custom features, those additional options for your offset X and Y, and the color picker and so forth. Those are all brand new as well in this 1.07 update. So again, we'll have a link below to the crowdfunding page. I encourage you to download the demo and give it a try. And if you find the tool will be useful for you, then go ahead and support it. All right, thanks a bunch.